Welcome to the City Show. Pat O'Melia here on GGR Radio. As I say, as I open every show, download the Live 365 app. Download it. We got our revenue sharing today from Live 365. I won't be going on any cruises with it, but at least it's something. Again, download the Live 365 app. Tell your friends, tell your mom's friends, tell your aunt. There's a lot of programming on it besides what I'm doing here. For that matter, I'm working with Mike right now. We're going to bring forward somehow, we got to figure out what it's going to look like, a Hudson County High School sports show covering all the basketball and all the high school events. So we're going to probably need some reporters from the various high schools. And I know there's some kids that cover this. So we'll put them in the radio business. But you're not going to be able to listen to that if you don't have the Live 365 app. Now, if you're listening right now, you already did that. We just got to get more people to do it. So tell your friends, please download the Live 365 app. And we'll keep developing programming that will make you happy. We're working on the medical show. One of my co-hosts are in Berlin right now. So hopefully when he gets back, we can start that in earnest. He has selected a co-host. What we'll do with the medical show, we'll do an English and a Spanish version. And we have to figure out how we're going to schedule it in here so it doesn't interfere with our television programs. But there are things we're working on. I'm about, like I said, 6 months behind where I want to be with the radio. But I'm working on getting it there. What we're going to do right now, we're going to take a break for commercials. You're listening to the City Show here on GGR. I'm Pat O'Melia. I'll be right back.
Comprehensive healthcare is here, here, and here. RWJ Barnabas Health is healing, enhancing, and investing in Hudson County with its 2 newest locations, Hoboken and Exchange Place. Within walking distance or accessible by mass transit, our locations combine convenience with primary and specialty care, including cardiology, women's health, orthopedics, cancer care, and more. Let's be healthy together.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net.
No one plans on heart disease, but everyone should have a plan for it. We help patients of all lifestyles and medical histories plan for healthy hearts. We offer convenient screenings without judgment, hundreds of preventive programs, and women's heart specialists. And we're the largest cardiac surgery program in New Jersey. Make plans for a healthy heart with RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together.
Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights. Your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments. Carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants. All major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
We're back. You're listening to this City Show. Pat O'Melia here. I'm used to saying short show. I do I have two 2-hour shows on the weekend. I'm still in that short show move. But this is the City Show here on GGR. Don't forget, download that app. Hope you're listening to all those commercials. You want to get a headstone? Go up to see Johnny Burns there on Tunley Avenue. Go see Johnny. He also does plaques and monuments. You want to see a beautiful monument? Go over to Braddock Park. They got the War Memorial there. Beautiful job. And Johnny did that during the pandemic. As soon as I walked into the park, I knew Johnny did that. There's another one further back. There's a 9/11 memorial. I knew Johnny didn't do that. I've been with Johnny now 25 years, something like that. He's been advertising with us. I've known him. He's one of the greatest guys in Hudson County, Jersey. We should erect a monument to him. But if you lost a loved one or you need a monument or a plaque, Johnny Boy's the guy. Now, I'll tell you something. Wherever you're getting a headstone, you're dealing with John. But John's one of the few places that can do the engraving. You're basically going to a middleman. So instead of cut out the middleman, just go see Burns Brothers or Hooper at North Arlington. Burns Brothers on Tunley, Hooper there on Ridge Road. And it'll save you money, and John's going to do the engraving either way. Everybody sends that engraving work to Johnny. And you guys heard my buddy, Consumer Carpets, Nelson. You need carpet needs. You need linoleum. You need some hardwood. You need some, whatever that veneer stuff is. It looks like hardwood, but it's not really hardwood. You can get that done. He's done all this carpets in my studio. I'm standing on one of these carpets right now. All the flooring in my house and many other people's houses. And he goes anywhere over in New Jersey. Anywhere in Jersey. He'll actually go to Pennsylvania also. Excellent work. It's an extended commercial. It's like kissing up to your advertisers here. We got the mayoral debates next Tuesday. That'll be on Comcast. As soon as we find the Terra deck, they sent the Terra deck here to the studio. The studio is like 3 blocks long. It is a humongous building. There's got to be like 50 companies in here, and they sent it to somebody in this company. We need the Terra deck to stream onto the Comcast networks. I assume we'll find that Terra deck in the building somewhere, hopefully today. I'll have to send Garrett out on a scavenger hunt here. It'll also be on our YouTube, it'll be on our Facebook, it'll be on our Twitter, every place we can stick it streaming-wise. And we're looking to simulcast it also on our GGR. So that's next week. The former mayor of Jersey City, Brett Schumler, is the moderator. So we're hoping to have at least 5 of the candidates. Hard to get all the candidates. For that matter, we have another one set up for October the 22nd. Turns out that's a council meeting day, so I got to try to move that. Hard to find airtime for 90 minutes on the cable networks, but I'll work that out. But you got Brett Schumler next week, 6:30. I hope they have at least 5 of these guys. You know, there's a couple of fringe candidates. We haven't heard from them. I'll be honest with you, I don't know how to contact them. I'm going to give it John Hines. John might know. So you got Brett's doing the next one Tuesday on the 30th, and John Hines from Hudson County View is doing the one somewhere around August the 22nd, 23rd, 21st, somewhere around. We'll find out. 90 minutes to do that. I was not aware. That's my own fault. I should have realized we have a council meeting on that day somewhere along the line. Yeah, the governor's debate Sunday. Actually, it was pretty interesting. Production values actually weren't too bad. I'm not sure why you need all these moderators for. You have more moderators than you have candidates. And they got like a 6-foot folding table with a tablecloth on it. We have that here. You know, I'm thinking Rider University would have a little more of a set then. But the production values were good. Cramping 3 guys in it on a table, and then you had the hostess or whatever she was doing, reading questions to the 2 candidates. But the 2 candidates, I thought it was, I don't want to say it was even. I'm probably leaning towards Jack Citarelli on it, mainly because the sanctuary state question, whether you're in pro or con of the sanctuary state here in New Jersey, Mikey Sherrill should have given an answer. And she danced around with that. But I think they all had really good answers. I thought Jack was very comfortable. Even Mikey was very comfortable also. The women that were watching it where we were saying their outfit didn't fit. It looked okay to me, but women are tough. I'm not even sure women will vote for women. Just going from the comments that was hearing where we were watching, I said, women are tough on women. But Jack went tieless. Everybody was noticing that. I didn't notice that. I haven't wore a tie in a long time, so it was just natural to me. They're saying, well, he's not wearing a tie. Maybe he doesn't wear a tie. Who knows? There's no tie on there. But they did what I thought they answered. I'm not sure I like the idea of the candidates walking around. Jack went up to like fist pump a 12-year-old kid who didn't know what the hell was going on. So sure, they're making that a big thing, saying that the kid didn't want to fist pump Citarelli. He didn't know what the hell was going on there. He didn't know Jack was going to punch him either. Jack put his fist in his face there. But it was a good debate. I'm not sure about the walking around. I remember, was it with Barack Obama, and was it McCain? They did the walking around things. I think I'd rather nail him at a podium, just keep him there. That's easier for the camera guys, by the way, if you just keep him nailed down to a podium. Some of the questions, kind of vanilla, kind of softball. When it came to the taxes, got a kick out of Cheryl. She was blaming Jack Citarelli for the taxes in New Jersey. Jack Citarelli hasn't been in office in, I think, about 16 years. Now, I'm not sure how Jack is responsible for the taxes here in New Jersey. And they were talking about the big, beautiful bill. That's the reason the prices are high. The big, beautiful bill doesn't even kick in until 2026. That's where, when you're watching this, again, I cover this stuff. I read all the apps and papers and journals. I consume all news. So I'm pretty educated as to what we're doing in New Jersey, and pretty much to the government, to the Fed government. When you start saying, well, the big beautiful bill is the reason, whether you like Trump, you hate Trump, you don't like the big bill, or whatever, because there's too many B's in there for me. It didn't kick in yet. It doesn't kick in until 2026. So how the hell did that have an effect on anything? You want to talk about some tariffs? All right, you can say that, but you're bringing in a big, beautiful bill. And then blaming Jack Citarelli for taxes. Jack hasn't had a damn thing to do with taxes in like 16 years. Who do we blame for the last 8 years? Who do we blame for a budget that's gone up like $30 billion in the last 8 years? Who do we blame there? Can't be Jack, because he hasn't been voting for 16 years. Now, Cheryl's been in the federal government. Maybe we can blame her. But blaming, I think there's a commercial out there right now, High Tax Jack. Jack has nothing to do with that. That's why I said it on, I think, the Shore Show. We need some sort of honesty in political advertising. You know, you can't run an ad for a car and say it's going to get 60 miles to the gallon, because it's not true. You have to justify and fact check everything you're sending in that commercial that is accurate. But obviously that's not the case with television, political commercials. You can throw anything at it. You know, years ago when Glenn D. Cunningham was running, the Jersey Journal had a problem with some of Glenn's ads, and they wouldn't run them in the paper. And I was on, doing the Jersey City radio show then. And I got in touch with the Jersey Journal. Actually, I became friends with the editor after that. Said, this isn't, what the Jeets is running is questionable, and you're going to question what Cunningham's going to run? And I actually used a race card there. It says, because he's black. And I was, no. They were white guys saying that. But then Glenn got to run his ad, so that got it taken care of. And like I said, the editor and I became friends after that. There has to be some truth in this, because there's so many lies. They got someone going with Jack Citarelli now about 10% sales tax on everything, including food and clothes. He didn't say that. He didn't say that. They brought it to the attention of the Sherrill campaign, and the Sherrill campaign was like, screw you, we're going with it. It's not true. He didn't say that. He was talking about something going on, I think it was in Tennessee, and that, yes, they have a 10% sales tax on everything, but they don't have an income tax. So it's probably a trade-off there somewhere. Maybe that's something Jersey should look into. Get rid of the income tax and just go with the sales tax. That may be fair to everybody. But a high tax Jack. But I will say one thing with Cheryl. She has a plan for the schools to get a handle on the school funding and school budgets by eliminating school districts. Now, they were saying there were 580 school districts. The last I counted, I think it was 565 schools. Put it this way. There are too many damn school districts, and you're paying for them. You're paying for the salaries. You're paying for vacations. You're paying for benefits. You name it. All that stuff. Pensions, all that stuff you're paying for. If they got school cars, you're paying for the insurance and the gasoline in the cars. You're paying for that. And Mikey Sherrill is talking about reducing all those districts to 21. In fact, we have 21 counties, 21 school districts. And I also read that we might be the only state, which would make sense to me, New Jersey would be the only state that would have more school districts than municipalities or counties. Supposedly, in other parts of the countries, they got 15 counties, county districts. You got 15 school districts, so that would make sense. But we have a ton of upper expenses with the school funding, and a lot of it comes down to the school district. There is some concern that the school, somebody's trying to call me when I'm on a show. I should have this thing off. I should be able to shut that off. There we go. I'm going to put this on silent now, because I should have done it before I got on the air. But for some reason, I can't get this thing to go off. There we go. I should have put this thing on, whatever I need to put this on. It's live radio. What are you going to do? It's live, baby. Now I'm putting it on silent. Boom. You're good. I'll take care of that phone call when I get back. Where was I? School districts. Well, no matter what. As I said many times on this radio show and on the Shore Show, we have to come up with a better way of funding the schools. It has to be equitable through all the school districts, all the schools. As I have said many times, there's no reason It costs $36,000 or so to educate a kid in Jersey City, and $18,000 in Toms River. Makes no sense. There's no reason we should be losing teachers for school funding. Teachers are off the table. They're superhumans. Can't do nothing with them. You got to cut your expenses everywhere else. Or maybe we just had the funding wrong altogether. There's inequities in the funding. We have to look at that. But it needs to come down. You can't have school districts with $1 billion budget like we have here in Jersey City. So I agree with what Mikey Sherrill was talking about. You eliminate the overabundance of school districts and payrolls and every other damn thing. That's a big bite out of the school budget. There's concerns about the school unions. School unions are pretty strong now. That may be something that has to be looked into the future. I'm sure Trump will get to that somewhere along the line where he'll take on the school unions also. Jimmy Kimmel is back tonight. Jimmy Kimmel, I'm sure you may have heard, because we're all offended that he got suspended. Yeah, I was worried that Jimmy wouldn't have dinner and no food on the table. The other guy's making $15 million a year. It's amazing how many people got upset over this. There's really a lot of people, because when I seen the protesters, there'd be like 20 protesters out there. That might be Jimmy Kimmel's audience. Yeah, let me say, I like Jimmy Kimmel. I liked him when he was with Win Ben Stein's Money. I liked him with The Man Show. I liked him originally when he started Kimmel Live. But then he started getting really mean, and he wasn't playing both sides of the field anymore. He was just strictly going after the conservatives and the Republicans. I'm more of a mercenary. And as somebody did a research on it, they only had one guest in all the years, the last 4 years, I think, of Kimmel. That was a Republican or a conservative. The rest were all on the other side. So it certainly wasn't fair. But Kimmel made some remarks that didn't go over well with Disney or Sinclair or Nexstar, the syndicators of ABC programming. And, of course, Disney owns ABC and ESPN and all. So he's been off the air for about a week or so, and he's coming back tonight. I don't believe he's apologizing. I know Nexstar and Sinclair wanted an apology. That's not forthcoming, so Nexstar and Sinclair will not be showing Kimmel's show, which is it's going to force ABC to do something because they're losing a ton of ad revenue without Sinclair and Nexstar airing the Kimmel Live show. So that's going to come to a real quick conclusion, real fast on what they're going to do with Kimmel. The thing is, the late night scene has changed dramatically. As I think I said last week, I don't think, I'm trying to remember what shows I do now. Something got like Fernando, I got too many shows. It changed drastically over the last few years. There's so many options at night. I'll go down the YouTube rabbit hole. I think the only late night show that'll be around, say, another year or so would be the Tonight Show because it's an institution. It is an NBC institution, and that will be there for as long as there is an NBC. But Kimmel getting suspended over politics or the FCC stepping in or the advertisers or the network itself ain't nothing new. This happened before. One of the big examples was a show years ago, The Smothers Brothers. They came up a little bit after Rowan and Martin's Laughing. They were kind of programming to it. And the Smothers Brothers were very successful. Two brothers, you can Google them. They got heavy into politics, and like each preceding week, they got heavier and heavier into politics. They were going after Nixon. There was a Vietnam War was going on. There was a lot of heavy politics going on. And it got to the point where the network wasn't interested in it anymore. The FCC was putting a lot of heat on the network, which the FCC put heat on Disney with Kimmel, and they eventually canceled the Smothers Brothers, who had pretty damn good ratings. I want to remember, Kimmel's ratings went in the tank over the last few years. Yeah, you can't aggravate and piss off half the country, which is potentially half your audience, by attacking the Republicans or the Conservative Party. And even with the Smothers Brothers, I think they were really hard on Nixon. I was a kid then. They got canceled, and they were a highly rated show at that time. But that is not new. There are shows that get canceled because of controversy, for statements that are made, whether political, derogatory, stupid is another one. Roseanne is a good example. Roseanne, of course, her show is one of the greatest shows of all time. Then they brought it back with Roseanne again, and she was on for about a year, and she made a questionable post about somebody who was involved with the Obama administration, and Roseanne was gone. But we're more woke back then than we are now. The wokeness is starting to, we're going back to sleep. If we're not awake, I guess we're going to sleep. We're not as woke as we used to be. And little by little, we're becoming less woke. But Roseanne was gone. Then they rebooted the show as the Connors. Without Roseanne. Roseanne was explained that she OD'd on some painkillers. And it went on for another 4 or 5 years. I think it's now off the air. I know Roseanne had a problem with some of the people that didn't stick up for her. John Goodman is one of them, and some of the kids that were on the show that she made stars out of. Then for Bill Maher, you like Bill. A lot of people like Bill Maher. He's got his show and he's got his podcast. Bill Maher was canceled because he made comments about 9/11, and the network said, too soon. So Bill Maher was gone. Oddly enough, you know who they replaced Bill Maher with? Jimmy Kimmel, 24 years ago. So this is not new when you overstep your stage and you start getting into the deep end of the pool with politics or governmental. You want to pick a fight with the strongest nation, or you want to pick a fight with the most powerful figure in the world and the President of the United States, you're going to lose. You may think it's funny, and the audience will like, oh, look at that, he's making fun of the president. You're going to lose. The most powerful person in the world. He doesn't have to do it. Everybody's blaming Trump, and Trump may be behind it, but there's no evidence of that. It was the FCC and Disney suspended Kimmel. And Nexstar and Sinclair said, we're not going to air him. We don't want to be involved in this. We don't want to be part of this. So Kimmel may come back tonight. This could be a good night. Goodbye, good night for Kimmel. Could be his finale there. But without the distribution of his show, he's not getting his money. Disney's not getting their money. So none of that's going to happen. But you have the late night graveyard. Now, I was everybody was a big Johnny Carson fan. Johnny was the king of late night. He could make you, he could break you. All he had to do was put you on the stage. He gave you that thumbs up or that okay sign. It was the okay sign. The okay sign, you were a star. You were a star the next day. If you were a stand-up comedian, you got that okay, or get the okay and invited over to sit down, you became a star overnight. Your career was now set. Drew Carey was one of the greatest examples of that. Jay Leno, Jerry Seinfeld. They got the okay. Drew Carey got invited over no less. He got to sit down. Superstar the next night. That was the power of Johnny Carson. But the late night graveyard, you had Joey Bishop. Regis Philbin was his sidekick. Joey was okay. Problem is, just didn't have the numbers against Johnny Carson. Merv Griffin. He's the guy that created Wheel of Fortune. And what's the other one? Oh, I'm forgetting the other one. It's Jeopardy. It was a Merv Griffin production. He was a talk show host. And it didn't work out. He did okay in the days. Probably Merv Griffin is more remembered now for the skit on Seinfeld, where Kramer finds the Merv Griffin set at a dumpster and he brings it home and he starts doing the talk show in his apartment and he's inviting people in. Merv is probably more remembered for that than his own talk show. And of course, if you pay attention, Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune, Merv Griffin Productions. Merv got blown out of there. At Arsenio Hall, he did a couple of years, taking on Johnny. Joan Rivers. Joan was pretty damn good. Joan Rivers had to go. She wasn't getting the ratings, nor was she getting good guests because they were afraid of Johnny. Chevy Chase. Chevy Chase was probably the worst talk show ever. My old weekly show was better than Chevy Chase's talk show. Dennis Miller had a talk show. All gone. Chevy Chase was the worst talk show. I think it had 29 episodes and was taken off the air. The day he was taken off the air, his ratings were better than Kimmel's are. His ratings were better than Kimmel's. Kimmel's last rating number, I think, was like 0.35. That is pretty damn bad for a guy making $15 million a year. So this is where you come into the problem when you're like Colbert. They're saying the show was losing $40-50 million a year. Well, off the bat, Kimmel's making $15 million a year. So don't cry for Kimmel if he doesn't have a show. Yeah, he's set for life. Don't worry about Kimmel. The airtime, they'll put Big Bang Theory in there, a Modern Family, something like that. Right now, I think they're running a Family Feud in there. But Kimmel, in the late night ratings, he was either number 3 or number 4. That gets you canceled. And I don't even think that's counting Gutfeld with Fox because he comes on at 10 o'clock. I don't even think that it counts him in there. But when you're number 3 and 4 in the ratings, you're gone. So with the syndicators dropping out, not saying they're not going to air Kimmel with his low ratings, I could really say, since he didn't want to apologize, I could see him coming back tonight and saying, listen, this is it. I just want to say I want to thank everybody, blah, 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 everybody involved with the show. And this is my last show. That may happen tonight. All right, we're going to break for commercial. You'll listen to the City Show here. If you would like to call us, 855-999-0799. That's 855-999-0799. I'll be right back.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in one of our many high-rise towers. With amenities such as the on-site Newport Path, light rail, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Kohl's, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams and Acme Supermarket are just outside your front door. A health and fitness center, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. Enjoy the New York skyline from our waterfront and various parks. Manhattan is just one pass stop away, or quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Looking to visit? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. For more information, visit us at newportnj.com. Make lasting memories to cherish forever. It's incredible. It's you, Newport. Live like you want.
Panapinto Properties, Jersey City, shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces and addresses your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment, adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at panapintodevelopment.com. Panapinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Good Friend Self-Storage in North Bergen, New Jersey is a fully climate-controlled facility equipped with state-of-the-art security, packing supplies, a Refer Friend program, and multiple loading docks convenient for commercial use. Located just off of Route 3 at 4301 Tunnelly Avenue, Route 1 and 9. Call 201-867-2444 or visit us on the web today. Good Friend Self-Storage. Let us be your good friend.
All right, we're back. You listen to the City Show here on GGR. I'm Pat O'Melia. 855-999-0799. If you want to give us a call and discuss anything, you don't like what I said, doesn't matter. Getting back to Kimmel, there's a boycott underway, discontinuing and canceling the Disney Plus package. I don't know how many people are doing that. You know, it's a good package, by the way. You get Disney, of course. You get Hulu. You get ESPN. I want to remind people, the ESPN is now big time in the NFL football business. They got the Red Zone. They purchased the NFL Network. You want to fool around with ESPN, you're not going to be watching much football. And everything's football. It's like a money printer to foot the NFL. It's printing that money, baby. It's printing that money. By the way, Jersey Line, I went 10-6 this week for the season, for the week number 3. And I beat my AI buddy, ChatGPT. I think I'm up 4 games on him now. I laugh at that artificial intelligence when it comes to picking football games. Good game last night between the Lions and the Ravens. Watching with my wife, she's hoping the Ravens are going to win, and also ChatGPT took the Ravens. I say, here's the problem. I think Lamar is a great quarterback. I think he's really improved his throwing. But on the big stage, it just doesn't seem to happen to him. And here was a big game, the Monday night game. What happens? Got run off the field. Got run off. And Henry fumbles. That's like 3 fumbles in the last 3 games for Henry. Somehow, some way, like I told my wife, they'll blow the game. And even when they were tied up, I said they will blow the game. I was getting 5.5 points. They blew the game. Yeah, it might become they can't beat Buffalo. They can't beat KC, the Ravens, and they can't beat the power teams, the Lions. So it'll be interesting to see what Baltimore does. The head coach there, Harbaugh, things might be getting a little warm for him. We're getting back to Disney. Boycotting Disney by canceling your subscription isn't going to help. And it's not going to hurt Disney. It's $1 billion. I love how people think that. Oh, I'm going to cancel. I'll get my $16 a month. Don't worry, Disney will be fine without your $16 a month. And if you want to watch the NFL, you're going to have to get your Disney package back. If you cancel, you're going to probably have to pay the highest premium. Now, I got the highest one. I don't want the commercials. That's the whole reason I got Disney Plus. I didn't want the commercials. I got Hulu because I didn't want the commercial. I got the HBO Max, which is back again, HBO Max. I always take it without the commercials. I just want to watch it. It's like if I want to watch a movie, I want to be like I'm in the theater. I don't want commercials breaking out in the middle of my movie. Just let the movie go. You want to run a commercial afterward, fine, because I'll bail out at that point. But discontinuing your Disney Plus isn't hurting Disney. It's amazing how offended people get over this Kimmel thing. Really, is it affecting your sleep at night that Jimmy Kimmel was suspended or canceled? Is it really? Is it really bothering you that Colbert is going to be off the air in a month or so? Does it really? Yeah, all the shows that have come and gone and are canceled eventually for low viewership. Yeah, like the Big Bang Theory. I'm a fan of the Big Bang Theory. Yeah, Jim Parsons wanted out. He got sick of being Sheldon after 12 years. They were still high in the ratings, but eventually the ratings would have waned. It happened with Cheers. It happened with Modern Family. Happens with all the big shows. If you can get 7-8 years out of a show, you're in good shape. Frasier came back. Numbers were okay. Then numbers weren't okay. These reboots don't seem to work. Like Night Court, it worked for a while, but each week they were doing the Jump the Shark with bringing in somebody from the Big Bang Theory or some other bigger guest. Shows come and shows are going to go. The only show that is going to be a fixture will be the Tonight Show. That's dyed in the wool with NBC. Yeah, that's still the effect of Johnny, who's been gone, I guess, about 15 years now. Johnny still looms big over the Tonight Show. But don't cancel your Disney Plus, because if you're a football fan, you won't be watching many football games. You want that red zone? And the red zone's a bit of a pain to watch. It's hard to really get into the games, because I'm making these selections each week. And I like to see how the defense is playing, who's running, who's fumbling the ball, how the quarterbacks are throwing, and they're jumping from game to game on me. So a little governmental stuff. Congress, there was a resolution to honor Charlie Kirk. Now, as I said before, I don't know much about Charlie Kirk. Yeah, I know he's a big conservative guy, big religious guy. It's tragic that there was another 23-year-old kid was just caught shooting somebody. Yeah, I don't understand the hate these kids have. They would shoot a young guy like that. And he's 31. The kid that shot him was like 22, 23 years old. I have a hard time getting my head around that. But they were going to pass, and they have passed a resolution in the Congress honoring Charlie Kirk for being a great American. And some of the Democrats voted against it. In particular, 3 New Jersey Congress representatives voted against it. Bonnie Watson was one of them. My friend, Rob Menendez Jr., voted against it. Yeah, how callous do you have to be? It's just honoring the guy who was murdered. Whether you appreciated what he said or you didn't appreciate what he said, it was a matter of free speech. We're talking about Kimmel. Oh, Kimmel, they canceled free speech. Well, he shot a guy over free speech. That we should be having protests over. That's something you want to get upset about. You want to cancel something over a guy being shot. 31 years old, got 2 young kids. Yeah, it's going to be a tough time for these young kids. I came from a family like that. My parents were gone when I was 8. Hopefully these kids do better than I had. That's where you protest. You should be walking around with signs there. For that matter, you got President Trump's in New York today. They put that UN. Oh, God, whoever agreed to put the UN in New York. It's going to be a week of nightmarish traffic in New York. That's the last thing New York needs is any more freaking nightmarish traffic. But Trump's saying they got people who are protesting. Yeah. They want to block the streets. They want to stop the Trump motorcade. That's not going to happen. You're not blocking the Trump motorcade, so stop this sanity stuff. And to the people they were interviewing, they don't look like your normal protesters here. Why do they all seem to be old and white? Are they getting paid by somebody? I'd almost guarantee it. Somebody's paying these people to be there. If you ask them questions as to why you're there, they probably couldn't answer. But, whoever idea was to put the UN in New York City, I should have rethought. They should have put it in, like, North Dakota, Minneapolis or something, like somewhere in the Midwest. Not New York City, because it just ties up everything. Everybody trying to go to work, there'll be a problem all week. And they tell them, just take mass transit. Who wants to take the mass transit in New York? That's almost like signing a death sentence. It's like a suicide one. You want to get in that subway? There's subways, there's situations every friggin' night in New York City on the subway. You want to get on a COVID tube on the bus or deal with the people on the bus? Drive in on your own. This week, take a week's vacation. Don't go over there. It's just going to be nightmarish. Jasmine Crockett. Jasmine Crockett, she seems to be becoming the face of the Democratic Party, which shows you the problem with the Democratic Party. The thing she says is amazing. She just said, if you commit crimes out of desperation, you're not a criminal. Think about that. If you commit a crime, you're not a criminal. Yes, you are. We have laws about it. That's why it's why our quality of life is slipping so much, because we're so tolerant of criminals and people who are breaking the law for whatever reason. We've had laws on the books for years. When I was a kid, we robbed freight trains, we stole some cars, we did some things we shouldn't have done, doing that, the robbery, but we were young Jersey City dopes. And we got we got out of that. But were we criminals? Sure, we were committing crimes, so yes, we were criminals. Did we see the error of our ways? Some of us did. I'm one of the ones that did. Not all of us did, and some of us paid that price. They got some lodging on the dime of the state. There's some bars in front of them. But most of us seemed the error of our ways. But really, it was being a Jersey City kid. It's what we did. We did stupid things because we were stupid kids. Eventually, we got a little bit smarter. But yes, you commit a crime, you're a criminal. Now, you may get the title off you if you go to these programs afterwards and you rehabilitate yourself. But I don't care how desperate you are. If you go and mug somebody or break into someone's house, you're an effing criminal. I don't care if you are hungry. You're a criminal. Go get a job. Actually, today, going down Bower Street, woman had to be like all of 70, 80 years old. She's got this folding cart with these humongous bags of aluminum cans. She's not robbing people. She's robbing the city because we're supposed to be picking those cans up for the recycling. But I'm going to let her slide because I respected her. Because you're out there busting your ass trying to put food on the table or what have you by picking up those aluminum cans. But you had to see the size of these plastic bags. I've never seen plastic bags. I would like to get them for my podiums. I should have stopped and asked this lady, where do you get a plastic bag that big? I want to put them on the podiums outside. I thought I brought these contractor bags, and they weren't big enough. You could have put a Volkswagen in these bags. But she had like 3 of these on this little folding cart, and she's mad that she's crossing Summit Avenue. And I realized, the city's supposed to be picking that up, but, the city's not doing anything about it. And when I ride down Central Avenue at night, there's the people picking up those cans, throwing them in those big bags. Just this woman was really working, and it's amazing on the effort she put in to put food on the table somewhere along the line. Speaking of our fine government, we probably have a shutdown coming. That's looming. Actually, I almost guarantee it's going to come because of the Trump derangement syndrome. No matter what Trump wants to do, they're going to try to stop it. I would prefer not to see it. But I believe some safeguards have been put in place now if there is a shutdown. Seniors will get their Social Security. Food stamps will go through. This happens to be a regular occurrence now. It used to be a rarity. There might be a shutdown. Oh, my God. Now it's like every 6 months there's going to be a shutdown. So fortunately, safeguards were put in place that essential services will continue to go on. The government will operate. We'll just be behind on some payrolls. But the seniors will be taken care of. People on food stamps will be taken care of. Medicare will go on. Medicaid will go on. So it's not as devastating as it had been in years past. But, again, when the campaign is over, your side won, your side lost, whatever the case is, now it's the time. It's the job of the people. It's the time you do what you're supposed to do in D.C. or in Trenton or wherever, and do what's best for your state, your nation, and your people. Not how much can we screw up the ruling party right now. How much can we fight them and aggravate them and become a group of people who will block any initiative? Like going back to that Charlie Kirk thing, yeah, there's a problem when we can't recognize a guy that was shot for his beliefs, his religious and political beliefs. There's a problem with that. Like I said, we'll make a big deal of Jimmy Kimmel getting canceled. Well, what about that guy? What about that guy? We don't make a big deal out of that because our priorities are screwed here. You go to D.C. and you just become an obstructionist. And it's going to be a vicious cycle, against eventually. I don't think the Democratic Party is dead forever. It's dead for now. I think it might be dead in the midterms. But eventually, it'll rise again. And the same thing's going to happen then. A lot of what's going on now, like they're talking about Trump and using the FBI and Department of Justice, weaponizing these departments. What the hell do you think Biden did? They were doing that. So somewhere along the line, we should just pass some laws about that, saying, all right, this has to stop. Once you're out of office, say you're the president, you're out of the office. You're immunity. That's it. Nothing you did is going to come back and bite you on the ass as a civilian. Well, this will just never stop. But we need to get back to the point where we can have faith in our departments, that they're not so slanted. Now, I'm not sure if Trump is guiding them. He did fire a prosecutor because 2 Democrats were going to vote for him to confirm him. He said, no, I don't want any Democrats voting for any of my people. If we don't have faith in the FBI, we don't have faith in the Department of Justice, that's a real kink in our democracy. They have to be above all this. And right now, I'm not sure they are. And I'm not, again, I think Biden did a lot of this also. And Trump's being accused of it now. Trump is accused of everything. It's amazing. It's like he runs every aspect of the country. Like going on with the, I should talk about this thing with the Tylenol. I have a nephew and a niece who are autistic. I don't know if Tylenol, I'm not a scientist, I don't know if it plays a part in autism during pregnancy. Nobody seems to know if there is any kind of scientific evidence that Tylenol might be a problem. Yet, then we should have a cautionary message on the Tylenol tubes, and we could have the Department of Health send out to say there may be a connection between autism and pregnant women taking Tylenol. But I'm not even sure we have that. We got Robert F. Kennedy Jr. They call him, he's an anti-vaxxer. I think we need a lot of these vaccines. Again, I'm a middle-of-the-road guy. I call balls and strikes. Like with Trump, I said, let's give him a year to see what happens here. He's going with his experts, and his experts are Dr. Oz and Robert Kennedy Jr. They're probably a joke in there somewhere. But I assume we have real scientists that are talking to these guys and advising them. We eradicated smallpox, polio, for the most part, measles. I'm forgetting horrible diseases that were prominent in the past. The COVID, I could see saying, we're not going to mandate a COVID vaccine, because who the hell knows with COVID? But I heard a guy on the radio this morning, I think it was Bill Spadia's show. He got the shots. He had to get the shots for something to do with his children. And he was a healthy guy. After he got the shots, he had a problem with his heart after that, defibrillation. Is there a connection? Possibly. I firmly believe in another 5 years or so, you're going to see like these commercials, class action shoot. If you took Moderna's COVID-19 shot, you may be entitled to a cash reward. I can see that coming. But, to do away with all the vaccines, nah, I don't think so. I remember as a kid, we used to line up in the hallway. It wasn't even sanitary. We'd line up in the hallway, and this 90-year-old nurse would come and shoot me in the arm. I'm in the friggin' hallway of the school. And I don't even think they even put any alcohol on my arm. It's like a 3-prong thing. And I still got it. I still scar my arm from that. You couldn't do these things today. It would never happen. But we all survived. Like I said, with the bike lanes. I didn't have a bike lane when I was a kid. I made it. All my friends made it home every night without bike lanes. I have cops and crossing guards crossing kids at school. I was the guy that used to cross the kids at school in elementary school. Like 6th, 7th grade, I was the patrol boy. I had my white belt and my badge, and I sent those kids across the street. I knew when the coast was clear, and they all made it home. I didn't have a gun. I didn't have any pay for this. All I had was a white belt and a badge. I was the guy. I was the guy that would bring messages in the school. They would send me down in the basement where probably were autistic kids were down there. We didn't know what it was back then in the 60s and the 70s. We put these people in the basement, and I would have to bring messages down to the teachers there. It was like going into the island of Dr. Moreau down there. We didn't know what was going on. It was a whole different world down there. But, it's a different world now. Yeah, like I said, it's getting vaccinated in the hallway. Lined up with all these other kids. Never happened today. Never happened today. Well, we might have this looming government shutdown. I'm starting to really believe in the Trump derangement system. If anybody can be an obstructionist, it's going to be the Dems. But it's only going to come back. Everything's just going to be goes in circles. Everything's circular. Let's break for commercial. You listen to the City Show here on Pat O'Melia on GGR. I'll be right back.
Comprehensive healthcare is here, here, and here. RWJ Barnabas Health is healing, enhancing, and investing in Hudson County with its 2 newest locations, Hoboken and Exchange Place. Within walking distance or accessible by mass transit, our locations combine convenience with primary and specialty care, including cardiology, women's health, orthopedics, cancer care, and more. Let's be healthy together.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net.
No one plans on heart disease, but everyone should have a plan for it. We help patients of all lifestyles and medical histories plan for healthy hearts. We offer convenient screenings without judgment, hundreds of preventive programs, and women's heart specialists. And we're the largest cardiac surgery program in New Jersey. Make plans for a healthy heart with RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together.
Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights. Your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments. Carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants. All major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
All right, I'm back. It was to the City Show here on GGR. I'm looking at my phone. Just checking, make sure there's any news that popped up here. I see Kamala Harris endorsed Mandani in New York. That's going to be something this guy wins. Oh, God, it's going to float right over to us in Jersey City. Whatever happens over there, it's coming our way. Never fails. Never fails. We just went through a political upheaval here in Hudson County. Had a lot to do with Mayor Fulop, the HCDO. HCDO originally endorsed Mayor Fulop, then they changed their mind. For a while, it was Gottheimer, and then they went to Mikey Sherrill. Well, that political war is still there. And you're going to see the next phase of it in June of 2026 when all our Hudson County Commissioner seats are up. There's already one candidates declared for District 2. That's where Commissioner Bill O'Day, Bill's running for mayor of Jersey City. He didn't say if he doesn't win, is he going to continue to be a commissioner. I doubt that Billy's going to leave the political arena if he doesn't. He's going to be the mayor or he's going to be a commissioner, one of the two. But you're going to see the second phase of what happened here. And there's been a fracture here in the county from Bayonne to North Bergen, Union City, Guttenberg, West New York. It's not one happy group anymore, the HCDO. But I'm going to just talk about an offshoot of another HCDO, which never seems to work. Brian Stack did that a couple of times. That doesn't seem to take. Even though these guys are, the leadership is in opposition, the soldiers aren't. They're still talking. They're going to the bars, having drinks, having dinners, what have you. They're on different sides right now, but they've been together for so long that they're talking back and forth. I was talking to one of these guys today. They said that I had a problem with Mayor Phillips. Mayor Phillips and I are fine. I've known Mayor Phillips for 20 years. Have we agreed on everything for all 20 years? No. We agree on it. Always issues. I was saying, I think, on this show last week, don't vote for just one issue, because there's always going to be another issue. Going back to, Schundler and Cunningham and Harvey and Healy and Fulop, there is always another issue. There was always another issue that you were going to go back and forth with the mayors. You can't take too many of these to heart because you're not going to win them all. Jersey City, you're not going to get nobody gets the whole loaf, put it that way. You're going to have to back down. You lose the issue, you lose the fight. Okay, there's another issue tomorrow that you're going to have to go back to the same guy, whether it's Mayor Fulop or Mayor Healy or whatever the case is, whoever the mayor is. Don't get so bent out of shape. Speak your mind. Be very pointed. Hey, this is it's what we should do, and it's up to the mayors at that point to make a decision. But believe me, don't get all bent out of shape if you lose that one issue. Because like I said, there's another issue right down the road, and it's coming at you. But we got all the commissioners in Hudson County will be up, all 9 of them. You'll see that the HCDO would probably want to strengthen their position. A lot will happen with the mayor's race in Jersey City. You got. I guess I'm going to say it's the big 3. You might throw Joyce in there and make it the big 4, but it's definitely O'Day, McGreevy, Solomon, and Waterman, and Mashab Ali. This kid's got a big future. I just don't think it's today, but he's got a big future in Jersey City. And there's a couple of fringe candidates there, and I'm really not aware of them. One's a young lady's a police officer. Another person was in San Francisco last year and is involved in the election here. You weren't even in Jersey City for the last year. You know what's going on here. I got people in Jersey City been moved here 10 years and they still don't know what the hell's going on in Jersey City. But again, you'll get to see all these people in action with Brett Schellner as the moderator next Tuesday, September the 30th. But watch how the political situation will start to change. That worm's going to start to turn right after the holidays, where we'll start focusing in on the June primary for all the commissioner seats. Braddock Park. The township of North Bergen has decided not to pursue a brick-and-mortar school structure in Braddock Park, where the school trailers are. It was $17 million, which North Bergen probably doesn't have, but they probably could have bonded for it. When you get right down to it, what happened with the school trailers is what just happened with this political war that's going on, the fracture of the HCDO. It was politics. Yeah, politics. Definitely politics and some money. I got a kick out of the Civic guys, Bloomberg and Walden. That guy, we beat them. And it was politics. It was politics that caused that school to, politics and finances that closed that school. But you never know what the future brings. But now these guys we want these trailers out of here right now. They're not going out of there right now. And we want the ground returned to its original state where dinosaurs walked over it or something like that. And when the trailers go, the grass will grow back. Maybe I would probably extend the football stadium over there, but that's what I would do. I'd make a better use of it. Because the school trailers, and I will say, I'm on record, the best place for a pre-K school was in the big park. It was safe. The kids could enjoy nature when they're on recess. There was no, it was suburbia there. There was no urban setting. It was like a nice suburban setting. You had the lake, you got turtles, you got trees. It was beautiful there for pre-K kids. I said, years ago, it would be great if Jersey City could do that. Unfortunately, we don't have enough parks to do that. But it'd be great if you could put a pre-K school in parks. This ideal location. And here you had the North Bergen Police and the Hudson County Sheriff's Department patrolling the park. You had all the security you needed. It was the best place for a preschool. And the size it took was less than 1% of Braddock Park space. This area is not going to make a big difference either way, for passive or passive recreation or just enjoying the laying on the grass. Ain't going to make a difference. It was a very small piece of land, less than 1%. And make no doubt about it. What caused this school, North Bergen, to change their mind was first and foremost politics. Secondly, $17 million. It wasn't the civics in this case. And take this from a civic warrior. Again, a lot of issues, nobody gets the whole loaf. And that's what happened here. That these guys happen to be able to dovetail in on a political situation going on in Hudson County. And somewhere down the line, there'll be repercussions to that also. Somewhere. But again, it's sad that the kids can't enjoy the park because of the powers that be. And that's unfortunate. But there was some land swap, so I don't know how that's going to affect anything. Did land come back? Does North Bergen still have to do it? Who knows? But we'll see how it all plays out. But again, I reiterate, it was politics and finance. The feds are pulling grant monies from trail and bike lane grants because they're not car friendly. Duh, you're damn right they're not car friendly. We create problems. Now, I'm a Jersey City guy. We create traffic in Jersey City. We go out of our effing way to create traffic in Jersey City with some of the stupid bike. On the city show, we're going to figure out next week how we're going to get it back on TV. Get the city show. Will be some hybrid thing with the radio and the TV. I want to take a picture of one of the most ridiculous bike lane setups we have in Jersey City. It is asinine. It is so stupid, it's comical. We create these problems in Jersey City with ridiculous infrastructure for bike lanes, bike laws, bump outs. If adding 3 foot to each side of a sidewalk at an intersection is going to make it safer for you to cross the street, you probably shouldn't be crossing the street. You certainly should never go to Journal Square. But if you can't cross a regular street, forget about crossing Journal Square. But, again, I grew up here in Jersey City. I cross the streets in the Heights all the time. I cross the streets in Dog Patch all the time. Up on Journal Square, I crossed. No problem. So did all my friends. We must be incredible at crossing streets and riding bikes because we made it all the time. We all made it home. And we went everywhere on our bikes. We went everywhere on our bikes until we decided we wanted cars when we were about 13 years old. So there went the bikes into the cars. But the feds have pulled the grant monies for trail and bike lanes. So maybe that'll slow a few things up. But somewhere, hopefully the next mayors, and you talk to these guys, and they want to take a public stand. Whoa, we're going to have the Vision Zero and bike lane. And some of these guys who've been in Jersey City a while and they said, well, how did we make it? And it's kind of like, well, I don't know, we were okay. There's these people, they moved here, they just don't know how to ride a bike. That's pretty much it. It's a bunch of snowflakes. All right, I'm out of show. You be good. You be safe. I'll talk to you next week. Good night.